Hello, everyone. My name is Shelby. I'm the director of Project Incubator. Thank you so much for tuning in to our 2020 Project Showcase. I do hope you enjoy it. You're going to see a lot of amazing projects. So hang on tight for the ride.
Hi, my name is Alina, and I'm going to be presenting the project that I did for Project Incubator this year. So I'll just be sharing my screen and running through a presentation explaining it. So my project is called Alternative 4, and what it aims to do is allow for young adults, especially high school students, to plan for their future with a focus on education, empowerment, and engagement. So running through an overview, like I said, it's a website, possibly more of a conversion of PDFs, but I'll get into that later, that is meant to help people plan for their future in terms of career goals as well as financial stability. And so we have a traditional path of graduating high school, then graduating from university, and then sort of setting on your career path, but that's not always the case, that it's the best option or a feasible option for everybody. And so what this aims to do is to make that possibility a reality for everyone by informing people on potential non-conventional paths that they can take. And that could include more flexibility in terms of how long it takes to earn a degree or pursue a certain career path, making it affordable in terms of how much you pay in total, as well as reducing the amount of debt, and emphasizing long-term benefits as opposed to just having a BA and still being stuck in a job market that isn't going to serve your best interests. And so sort of the heart of this project was education as a means to solving larger issues. So some larger issues that I've always been very passionate and interested in is educational inequality in public schools. That's especially prevalent in LA with LAUSD. That's a huge stark contrast between that and private schools surrounding it. Cyclical poverty and the issue of school to prison pipelines. And so all of these things like really affect kids and their futures, and it seems sort of inevitable and very difficult to tackle. And so what this planning is supposed to do is inform people of how things are structured and why it's difficult to succeed sometimes in this situation, and give them the tools to be able to proactively choose their own route instead of being sort of funneled into these sorts of issues that are laid out and really easy to fall into for a lot of the population. And so why the focus on education planning specifically? In a lot of schools, there's a lack of guidance for getting the degrees that lead to high-paying and desirable jobs. That could be in tech, that could be in medicine or law. It's just really hard to get to that place, and when you don't have the proper information in the first place, it's even harder. A lot of student loan debt that our country is facing, a lot of millennials especially are complaining about it, rightfully so, perpetuates the notion that college is only for the elite who can afford it, or just not worth it in general. And that's really untrue. It's just we need to be more nuanced in how we're showing what college is really worth. And that there are many opportunities for pathways that fit anybody's needs and preferences. Like anybody can make college a reality, but just finding those ways is the key. And through either the format of a website or PDFs, this sort of engagement with information and planning for the future with useful information is accessible to everyone as it's online. It's completely free and it's permanent. So even if the manpower that goes into this, which is me at the moment, is busy or like can't keep this up, it's still going to be on the web forever, so people will be able to continue to take advantage of it. And so the intentionality in my approach to solving the larger issues that I mentioned before with Alternatives 4 is putting an emphasis on sort of like a self-directed way to plan the future for high schoolers, just because it's really hard to know what's going on, let alone figure out what your own opinions on that are. And so making sure the power is in your hands, promoting growth mindset. I've taken a few education classes and worked in public schools, and that's been a really important part of making sure that people are resilient and able to really succeed in the workforce and their personal life. Making sure that this information is useful for everybody, regardless of what their goals or backgrounds are. And it's a sort of non-controversial means directed at controversial issues. When I say controversial, things that involve a lot of taxpayer money or involvement, I don't think anyone would be specifically opposed to PDFs helping people plan for their future. I'm not competing for funding right now just because it's not a very financially demanding project. If anything, I may ask GDL for funds for upkeeping the domain of the website, but there's nothing too significant. So this is more of an informative presentation. And as I mentioned before, I'm working on shifting a format to a compilation of PDFs, just because I work with a group on campus called Brewing Core that works with schools in LAUSD, and I think that would be really useful for high schoolers to be able to have. So even if we could email these to advisory teachers, I think it would be really great for high school seniors. And that's just the gist of my presentation. These are the goals that I was working on, making sure that students would be able to individually focus. Thank you very much.
Stanley, and this is my Global Development Lab Incubator project, which is titled Entrepreneurship, Information, Technology, and Mentorship Platform. As an introduction, we live at a point in history where we have concluded that aid will not create the sustainable development and equity necessary within our globalized and interconnected world. On the contrary, we are moving towards an economic system where we can achieve an equal playing field where entrepreneurs and business owners can learn from each other and benefit from knowing the same business strategies and technologies all over the world. Within this realm, it is necessary to create a platform where young entrepreneurs can come and access a toolkit that not only informs them of the technologies and strategies that they should know, but also begins to teach them the tools to learn these various skills. This project will be an information and asset sharing platform where people with lesser developed business, entrepreneurial, and technical skills can access knowledge, information, and business strategies from individuals with more experience and knowledge in this area. Additionally, over time, this platform will begin to offer various technologies, intellectual property, code, and business blueprints that are donated by business owners and not open sourced on the internet. Lastly, this platform will offer two other innovative sections, a development technology section and a mentorship and commentary hub. The problem is that we have found many solutions to the issues we face with business development and success, while young budding entrepreneurs and professionals are still struggling to find answers to the problems they face when opening and creating a successful business and becoming prosperous professionals. So when looking at the audience, the target audience and the profile of the ideal user, we must look at who these people are and the issues they are facing. Although I do believe that we live in a globalized world and our international market should be a level playing field, I simultaneously realize that this level playing field has not been realized yet, and regional focus is still necessary. This is why I've decided to regionally focus on Africa, an area that I know well. I've also come to the conclusion that the best way to get in touch with individuals that would know about this realm of work and be able to assist me is through college students who are in business school. I specifically want to get in contact with students at universities in Ghana, Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, and Rwanda. By focusing on these business school students, I can gain an understanding of what tools they need within the economies they work in, and hopefully these students will be willing to help me build out this platform as a kind of extracurricular activity, and then in the future we can bring the platform into more rural areas. So looking at the platform, I've started to build this out on my personal website. When first looking at the business strategy section, I've started to upload strategies such as leadership and management and finance and entrepreneurship. Looking at the marketing know-how section, I've started to upload technologies and strategies such as digital marketing, marketing analytics, and graphic design. Moving on to the computer and data science and information technology section, I've started to upload information about different technologies such as Java and blockchain. Within data science, technologies like Python and Excel. And then looking at information technologies, different technologies like cybersecurity and AWS. And then looking at the intellectual property, code, and innovative technology area, this is the area where people will be able to upload their intellectual property as a philanthropic effort to empower entrepreneurs. And then looking at development technologies, these will be various technologies, including things like water purification techniques and extending electricity into rural areas. And then within the mentorship and commentary hub, this will be a place for mentors and mentees to speak and people to voice the issues that they're facing and the tools that will assist them. And moving on to the call to action. This platform holds a great potential and there are many ways to get involved. These include suggestions on useful assets to be added to the platform, connections with successful business owners and established entrepreneurs, connections with young entrepreneurs in Africa, and funding for various aspects of the platform.
Hi, I'm Audrey.
Hi, I'm Yashwini.
Hi, I'm Nurhan, and our project is called Project COVID-19 Newsfeed. So since the onset of COVID-19, there's been this pervasive circulation of misinformation surrounding the virus and its effects, which has had really detrimental effects on the American public. This misinformation is generated by a host of different actors, whether it be scammers with devious agendas looking to profit off the pandemic, institutions or individuals misleading the public with some sort of political motivation in mind, or even those that are well-intentioned but still contributing to this so-called pandemic of misinformation. Moreover, social media has exacerbated this problem, with studies showing that people are even less likely to think about a source's or piece of information's reliability before clicking that share button on something, rather than if you had directly asked them to judge its accuracy. What it has resulted in is a public that's ideas range from not understanding key characteristics about the virus, believing in false cures or stories that create mass hysteria, and violating stay-at-home orders, and even more outlandish ideas. This is the landscape upon which we identified a glaring need, a need for a one-stop place with a trusted reliability metric for the public to get or vet information, especially information curated to what they want to see, like their own social media feed, but with a background check.
Given the issues that Nurhan just discussed, we've designed a website that provides the latest and most updated information about coronavirus. This site will be one of 3 sections of a larger COVID-19 website, also created by other GDL Project Incubator members. There will be various components to our website, meaning it will be broken down into sections, including how coronavirus is affecting politics, business, the economy, the environment, foreign relations, democratic structures and international development, social distancing measures and updates, etc. Every user will have their own individual feed that is designed to present articles based on what they've most frequently searched, downloaded, or read. Our group is interested in forming partnerships with other news sites for credibility and to have a consistent source of feedback because they have more experience in the media industry than we do. While we understand that it may be out of reach to partner with sources such as CNN, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, Washington Post, most of the sources posted on our website will be from these big name brands because of the established following each of these platforms has. Primarily though, we are looking to partner with new and upcoming news sites that will be more compelled to gain increased viewership. We figure the more low scale a company's operations are, the more interested they may be to collaborate with us. The resources we need are minimal and primarily reside in technical assistance with the actual creation of the website itself, building a news sorting algorithm and ensuring its functionality and maintenance. We also need a domain name, SSL certificate, WordPress hosting plan, and CodeGuard.
We plan to implement our project in 4 different phases, starting with the ideation, user interviews, prototyping, and development, which is the stage that we have worked on through May. And in June, we want to begin testing all the units and each component of the website, and then integrate it with the larger COVID-19 website, and then run integration tests to ensure that everything is functional and works smoothly for users. Finally, in August, we want to conduct a beta launch and conduct beta testing in order to get some feedback from actual users and modify our website to meet their needs best. And finally, post-launch, post-official launch, we want to keep doing user surveys, interviews, and collecting feedback so we can continue to refine our website and make sure that all our news is relevant and up to date. Finally, we want to keep updating our algorithm as well to ensure that we expend less human capital on running the website itself. Here's a prototype that we have so far. As you can see, we have quick links to all the informational repositories right at the top of the page, which is the CDC, WHO, and USA.gov, which also has all the links to federal response pages for coronavirus so that you can get all the information you need in one place from the government. There's some external links, which include the WHO toll tracker, which tracks cases, recoveries, deaths of coronavirus, country-specific across the world. There's a link to a JHU bot, which allows you to check your symptoms and ensure that you may, and find out whether you may or may not have coronavirus and may possibly require testing. And lastly, we want to show you the sign-in page where when you sign up for the website, you can choose whether you want what topics you want to see in your newsfeed itself. As the situation with coronavirus evolves, we want to continue adapting the website to structural changes and attitudes and preferences as well. So in order to keep ourselves relevant and keep our website running. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Julia.
And I'm Tasneem, and we're partners on a global development lab project, hopefully to address the educational inequities posed by COVID-19. So like any other inequity, access to accurate information is greatly exacerbated in the context of a global pandemic. So this project aims to address several facets of this issue, namely by creating a body of expertly vetted knowledge on COVID-19 based on rigorous research and review from experts, and one that takes into account factors that are often overlooked in regards to vulnerable populations, and two, starting the dissemination process of this by making these materials available to these vulnerable populations. So what is a vulnerable population specifically? So these are ones that tend to grapple routinely and systemically with what are called social determinants to health. And these are any of the following factors that contribute to the ultimate health outcome, but aren't directly related to medical predispositions. So language barriers, unequal access to healthcare, economic constraints, cultural insensitivities, and governmental mistrust can all contribute to one, a barrier in people accessing necessary healthcare resources, and two, implementing the instructions that are advocated and prescribed by these resources practically in their daily lives. So based on our preliminary research, access to context, and a lot of other factors that make our project more feasible, we've decided to focus our efforts on these two regions of interest, Cusco, Peru, and Northern California. With a high Hispanic population in Northern California and almost exclusively Spanish-speaking population in Cusco, Peru, they face language barriers both in accessing materials online, which the majority of accredited information online tends to exclusively be available in English, and Northern California is a primarily English-speaking country despite the robust Hispanic community present. And there is a big proportion of immigrants and lower income communities in these regions as well that kind of compound the social determinants that we spoke about earlier. So kind of how we would hope to translate the information that we get into this rudimentary prototype would be a poster as follows. So it'd be a summary cartoon with really clear information on the best practices to implement in the age of COVID-19, translated in both English and Spanish. This is an example taken from Rock University, but we are actively creating a prototype of our own.
So we hope to be able to implement this project this upcoming summer. We'll first be starting with data collection and research, where we will be interviewing public health experts and researchers, notably people who have specifically looked at the social impact of the coronavirus pandemic and have done research on the biological aspect of the pandemic. We will also be looking at public health data. Then we'll be focusing first on poster placement and creation, and then following that, webpage creation. And finally, we'll be doing a very large campaign to encourage and incite individuals to go out to inform themselves and to realize that these materials are now easily accessible. And then in the upcoming months, we hope to be continuously updating these materials and getting feedback on their efficiency. So in regards to funding, the only support we need for the website would be for the 1-year subscription. That would be a total of $60. The rest of the funding will be going towards the printed materials, that is the posters. A portion of that will be going towards shipping to Peru, so the bottom two, the poster tubes and the postage for the 15 posters. And then the majority of the funding will actually be going towards the laminated posters because well, we will need different format of these. We will be sending some to Peru, and we will also be having English and Spanish versions. So the total project expense budget is 2,155. Obviously, based on availability of funding, we will be adapting our project. So to ensure sustainability and longevity of this project, we will be conducting long-term data collection, surveys, and managerial reports to hopefully observe for a decrease in COVID-19 incidence. We hope to really decrease the burden on healthcare professionals. We also will be conducting these surveys to get feedback on the efficiency and on the format of these materials. So obviously this project is important during these times with the COVID-19 pandemic. We've always seen healthcare inequities prevalent in low-income communities around the world, but we hope that through education we will be disrupting the cycle of this endless cycle of preventable diseases and death and strengthening communities around the world. Thank you.
As a part of the greater COVID-19 related website, our section of the site focuses on different ways this virus has disproportionately impacted already disadvantaged populations. We aim to show these effects through a qualitative lens by sharing individual stories from different affected communities. It is our hope that by putting faces and stories to the statistics of coronavirus, we can help viewers of the website better comprehend the types and severity of harm the virus is inflicting on already vulnerable populations.
We also seek to provide accurate information and connections to resources to marginalized communities during the pandemic, as well as the potential of creating a policy memo and an online platform to advocate for changes these communities desperately need. In particular, we are looking at communities that are socioeconomically disadvantaged, such as those unhoused, undocumented, minority communities, and others that have been disproportionately impacted by COVID-19 due to discrimination and disproportional job loss in service sectors. The detrimental effects of the pandemic shows the malignancy of institutionalized racism in an action on behalf of our government and leaders. Therefore, this must be addressed, and our website is the perfect launching off point to do so.
Additionally, it is imperative that our project is sustainable, but we want this sustainability to go beyond the website itself being well funded enough that it can remain indefinitely. Additional to monetary concerns, we also want to ensure that the information written into the testimonies remains relevant and beneficial in the long term. In the short term, it is our hope that the implementation of our specific page onto this website will help disadvantaged communities to connect. In the long term, as mentioned, we want this project to also serve as personal testimonies to gaps in the system that must be addressed before another crisis strikes, giving our project further importance external to the current COVID-19 pandemic. As for funding, since we are a part of the larger COVID-19 website, our operating costs will remain around $20 to $40 a month for the entire website. To keep the information as relevant and thus our project more sustainable, we plan on adding a submission box to our page for people to upload stories for review, which we can then post. This will encourage continued engagement with our website and help us to maintain involvement and relevancy.
Therefore, here are 5 reasons we think you should fund our COVID-19 website. First, there's an immediate need. African Americans, undocumented Americans, and those in lower socioeconomic standings are more susceptible to COVID-19 and experience greater rates of job loss as well as housing and food insecurity.
Second, sustainable. Financially, we're only looking at monthly charges of between $20 to $40 to keep our site up and running, and some funding for potential marketing of the website. Socially, the effects of COVID-19 are not finite. There will be ripple effects. In the event of another pandemic, we hope our website will provide guidance in navigating that.
Our website also has a large potential for growth and partnerships. Already, we have outreach from groups working with the homeless in Westwood, as well as potential partners of Helping Hand LA willing to work with us on potential collaborations and support to help marginalized communities and reach a broader audience.
We also wish to document experiences and find solutions. We want to provide a platform for marginalized community members negatively affected by COVID-19 to voice their opinions, concerns, and needs, as well as to provide a space for organizers to mobilize for planned action.
Finally, we want to stand in solidarity against socioeconomic disparity. We stand in solidarity, acknowledging that race, socioeconomic standing, and citizenship status have played major roles in the lack of resource and healthcare provision to marginalized communities during COVID-19, and how those repercussions have caused greater societal unrest.
Therefore, please join us in working together to advocate for change and support those disproportionately affected by COVID-19 by funding our website. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. The world right now is in very chaotic situation, and you might be facing many difficulties in your life now. But what is the biggest issue that we all share regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, religion, and any other identities? It is COVID-19, the global pandemic. Today, we would like to present our project on finding solutions outside your boundary for the global pandemic. This project is conducted by Haru and Onha. The global pandemic plays a brake on every part of the world economically, politically, and socially. As a response, countries are developing different tactics to fight against the virus, but their countermeasures are very different from each other since they are shaped by the unique social structure of the countries. The enforcement's effectiveness and impacts on citizens also differ significantly. The differences are not trivial, especially they directly affect the death rates and economic performances. Thus, our project attempts to look into the social-cultural differences of the societies and the correlation with the countermeasures and effectiveness. We will provide those information in our access-free website in order to fight against the pandemic together as world citizens. Our website will have 3 different sections. First, in the policy comparison section, we will provide a list of COVID-19 countermeasures by countries and examine the effectiveness of each. Second, in the personal interview section, we will post information on the survey that we conducted with experts and citizens around the world. The aim of this section is to let the viewers to understand social cultural background and explanation of different measures around the world. Third, the open section will allow users to post their ideas and comments freely. By interacting with people around the world, we hope that users can broaden their perspectives. This is a model of how our website might look like. The template is from Google News, but the actual website will be our own unique design. The interactive world map allows the users to find information on the basic statistics, policy summary, and cultural analysis of country in the world. If the user click on the name of the country on the map, they will be redirected to the detailed information about COVID-19 situation there.
The cost of the project will consist of website and survey fees. The website fee will be shared with all COVID-19 sub-projects. Particular cost to this project is $300 and includes the survey fees and the cost to purchase survey prizes. To measure the effectiveness of the website, we will track the web traffic and monitor comments in our open section. We will share updates through social media and UCLA affiliated newsletters to spread the website. As the website expands, we plan to build connection with research institutions and experts and specialize in data presentation. As more relevant researches get released, we will focus on collecting and presenting the latest researches. This will enhance credibility of our website and reduce the research burden of the project. Moreover, we're currently standardizing our survey and interview processes to make the project more manageable in the long run. If possible, we also hope to install a fundraising channel on the website to make the project financially sustainable. Ultimately, our project aims to build a bridge between hard statistics and real-life impacts of the pandemic with a cross-cultural lens. Exploring the fundamental factors that shape the numbers, we will get a deeper understanding of how societies differ and open up the opportunity to learn from one another. Of course, this will also reveal what the societies and people across borders have in common, especially as we face the common threat. Through the website, the users will be able to broaden their perspective, learn from different cultures, and build solidarity with citizens across the world. The practical information aside, we hope to provide a platform where people can bond across borders and overcome the growing anti-globalization sentiment. Thank you for watching our presentation, and for details, see our paper Search for Solutions Outside Your Boundary or contact us via our emails.
Hello to my GDL family and all of our supporters. My name is Olivia, and I'm one of the winners of the 2019 GDL Award. Thanks to the Global Development Lab, last summer I was provided with the funds to launch my project, Kumi Connect, which was named for its objective to bring Wi-Fi connection and digital literacy training to Atatürk Hospital in Uganda. Even as I was planning the project, I was uncertain how extensive the ongoing commitment would be, and deep down I was really scared of failing. Right away when I landed in Uganda, I got some news, which made me think that the project had actually failed before it had begun. Despite months of due diligence, lengthy conversations, and careful planning, there had been miscommunication with my internet service provider over the monthly cost of the Wi-Fi. And when I reviewed our final contract, I saw that the monthly fee was 6 times higher than what I had budgeted, leaving me $3,200 in the hole. The first 2 weeks consisted of cold calling wealthy friends, meeting with members of parliament, researching all of my other options, asking the government to waive taxes, and lots of deep breathing. In the end, generosity, luck, and some personal grit salvaged the project, but it was just a preview for my challenging, rewarding summer. The outcomes of Kumi Connect included baseline surveys and beneficiary interviews, point-to-point Wi-Fi technology, digital literacy training and email access for 19 health professionals, and a communication network established between Atatürk and 6 medical hospitals, 5 referral hospitals, and 3 nursing schools. Since the end of the project, I have actually spent countless hours talking, emailing, and troubleshooting, dealing with some corruption, a little bit of frustration, and the transfer of some key contacts to other hospitals. I definitely felt moments of disillusion. Wishing I had maybe designed a short-term summer project with a clear endpoint, but I maintained my plans to return to Uganda this June. Then COVID happened. My disillusionment disappeared pretty quick, however, as I was able to make full use of the hospital's new communication pathway, sending CDC updates and WHO informational posters to the hospital before they had received any from their own Ministry of Health. And the administrator emailed me describing how the internet connection was especially helpful during the outbreak. So I thought, okay, it's all been worth it. And I will be working remotely this summer to expand the Wi-Fi coverage to other wards and more authorized users through crowdfunding. I was recently asked what personal lessons I took away from my experience. And I said, first, just to listen, because I really have no idea what other people need. Second was to adapt, whether it's canceled funding or canceling flights due to a pandemic. And third, to just try, because failure has been my favorite teacher. So I encourage everyone who has maybe had their plans thrown off track with their projects this year not to give up on them. And I thank everyone who made Kumi Connect possible. Thank you.
Thank you all for your wonderful presentations. It was a pleasure to be here and listen to all of them and the great work and ideas. We especially appreciated the timeliness of many of the projects around COVID-19 and other things facing inequities, not only here in the United States, but also around the world and globally. On behalf of all the judges, again, we thank you for your work and effort. We're pleased to announce that we'll be funding all the projects that were put up. For Grace's project, specifically, we're going to fund the full amount. Some feedback will be coming along with that. And for the entire COVID project, we're going to fund the whole group to produce a platform. And that will also be in stages with additional comments coming along from the team. So on behalf of all the judges, congratulations. We're very excited for your projects, and we look forward to hearing from all of you about how things go over the next few months. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody.
Good luck, everyone, with your projects.
Excited to hear how everything turns out.
Hi, my name is Abby. I'm the Executive Director of Global Development Lab. I wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in today to our end of year project showcase. We really appreciate it. And we hope that if you want to learn more about GDL, you will visit our website at this link, where you can find out about past projects, how we're moving forward, and even donate to continue to fund projects like these. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.